The massive chamber stretched across 3 city blocks, its crystal walls reaching toward a ceiling lost in artificial clouds. Representatives from 12 different worlds sat in their designated sections, each area designed to accommodate their unique biology. The air hummed with translation devices working overtime to convert dozens of languages into something resembling understanding. Ambassador Veltar of the Zephyrian Empire stood at the central podium, his forearms gesturing with practiced authority. His species had ruled their corner of the galaxy for over 10,000 years, and it showed in every confident movement. Behind him, holographic displays showed star charts marking human settlements in red, like an infection spreading across clean space. "The matter before us today is simple," Veltar announced, his voice carrying easily through the chamber's acoustics. "The species calling themselves humans have expanded beyond their permitted boundaries. They now occupy 3 star systems without authorization from this council." A ripple of agreement passed through the assembled representatives. The Krillian delegate, a being that resembled a walking tree with too many eyes, rustled its leaves in what their species considered applause. The aquatic thalassans bubbled approval from their water-filled section. "These humans," continued Veltar, pulling up images of Earth's colonies, "are clearly a primitive species. They still engage in warfare among themselves. Their technology's crude. They have no understanding of galactic law or proper civilization." The images showed human settlements on 3 worlds: New Geneva, a planet covered in sprawling cities and industrial complexes; Titan's Rest, a mining world where massive machines carved resources from the ground; and Farhaven, an agricultural world with endless fields of genetically modified crops. "Look at these constructions," Veltar said, zooming in on a human military base. "They build fortifications even on peaceful worlds. They prepare for conflict where none exists. This is the behavior of a species that cannot be trusted with expansion privileges." Commander Thex of the Mantari Collective leaned forward from his perch. His insect-like features clicked with disapproval. "My scouts report their ships carry weapons far beyond what any peaceful species requires. They arm their cargo vessels like warships." "Exactly my point," Veltar replied. "A species that militarizes everything it touches has no place among civilized worlds. We have maintained peace in this galaxy for 3,000 years by ensuring that aggressive species remain contained." The human representative sat quietly in the smallest section of the chamber. Ambassador Sarah Martinez had been invited to observe, not participate. Her section was barely large enough for 5 people, a clear message about humanity's perceived importance in galactic affairs. She wore a simple dark blue uniform with minimal decorations, looking almost plain compared to the elaborate clothing and natural displays of the other species. "The solution is straightforward," Veltar announced. "The humans will withdraw from all 3 colonies within 1 standard galactic year. They will submit to technological oversight to ensure they develop along appropriate lines. They will accept council guidance in all matters of expansion and diplomacy." The chamber filled with sounds of approval. The ethereal collective, beings of pure energy contained in crystal shells, pulsed with bright agreement. The stone-like basaltans rumbled their consent through the floor. "Furthermore," Veltar continued, "human military capabilities will be reduced to appropriate levels. They may maintain defensive forces sufficient for their home system only. Any vessels capable of faster-than-light travel must be registered with council oversight." Ambassador Martinez finally stood. The chamber fell silent, more from curiosity than respect. She was small compared to most of the representatives, barely reaching Veltar's chest level. Her voice was steady when she spoke. "Ambassador Veltar, members of the Galactic Council," she began, "I thank you for presenting your terms so clearly. However, I am not authorized to accept or reject such significant demands on behalf of my government." Veltar's forearms spread in a gesture of impatience. "This is not a negotiation, human. This is notification of requirements. Your species lacks the standing to negotiate with this council." "I understand your position," Martinez replied calmly. "Nevertheless, I must request time to present these terms to my government and receive instructions on how to proceed." A sound like grinding metal came from the mechanoid representative. "How much time does a primitive species require to understand basic compliance?" 30 standard days should be sufficient," Martinez said. The chamber erupted in various sounds of disbelief and irritation. 30 days was considered an enormous amount of time in galactic diplomacy. Most species responded to council directives within hours. 15 days, Veltar declared, and that is being generous beyond all precedent. 30 days, Martinez repeated. My government requires adequate time to consider all implications of such far-reaching changes. Veltar's skin shifted to a deeper shade of purple, indicating growing anger among his species. Very well. 30 days. But understand this, human, the Council's patience is not infinite. If your species attempts to use this time for military preparations or expansion activities, the consequences will be severe. I will convey your message accurately, Martinez said, making notes on a simple electronic tablet that looked primitive compared to the advanced devices used by other species. See that you do, Veltar replied. This council has guided lesser species to civilization for millennia. We offer your people the opportunity to develop properly under our guidance. This is not a burden we place upon you, but a gift we offer. The crystalline speaker, a being made entirely of living diamond, chimed in with its musical voice. Many species initially resist proper guidance. The hegemony required centuries to understand the benefits of council oversight. The Voidwalkers took even longer, but all eventually recognized the wisdom of our guidance. Those who continue to resist, added the Mantari commander, find that the galaxy becomes a very lonely place. Trade agreements become difficult. Resources become scarce. Sometimes corrective action becomes necessary. Martinez nodded slowly. I will include these details in my report to Earth. Excellent, Veltar said, clearly considering the matter settled. The human will return in 30 days with her government's compliance confirmation. This session is concluded. As the representatives began to disperse, many paused to discuss the humans among themselves. Their conversations, automatically translated, drifted across the chamber. 30 days to accept basic civilization requirements. How primitive can they be? Did you see their representatives' equipment? That tablet looked like something our children use for games. I almost feel sorry for them. They have no idea how generous the Council is being. Once they accept guidance, they might become useful. The galaxy can always use another mining species. Ambassador Martinez gathered her simple belongings and prepared to leave. She had recorded everything on her primitive-looking tablet. Though several representatives had noticed it and smiled at what they assumed was technological inadequacy. As she reached the chamber's exit, Veltar called out one final comment. Ambassador Martinez, I hope your government understands that the Council's offer of guidance is rarely extended to such a young species. We are being remarkably patient with humanity's lack of proper development. Martinez turned back briefly. I will make sure they understand exactly how patient you have been. She left the chamber and walked through the station's corridors toward the human transport ship. Behind her, the representatives continued their discussions about the primitive humans who would soon learn the benefits of proper galactic civilization. None of them noticed that the simple tablet Martinez carried contained recordings far more sophisticated than anything they possessed. None of them realized that their casual threats and dismissive comments were being analyzed by systems that made their advanced computers look like toys. The 30-day countdown had begun. 27 days had passed since the ultimatum. The Galactic Council waited for humanity's expected surrender, but something was wrong. Earth had gone completely silent. Fleet Commander Zix Thala stood on the bridge of the Council Enforcement Fleet, her scaled hands gripping the command rail with growing frustration. Around her, 50 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy hung in perfect formation at the edge of the Sol system. Each vessel was a masterpiece of engineering, capable of destroying entire planets if necessary. Still no response from the human homeworld. She asked her communications officer. Nothing, Commander, replied the young Zephyrian. They acknowledged our arrival 3 days ago with a simple message saying they received our presence notification. Since then, complete silence. Zixthala's tail lashed behind her, a sign of irritation among her reptilian species. She had expected this assignment to be simple. Show up, demonstrate superior firepower, accept humanity's terrified surrender, and return home in time for the victory celebrations. Instead, the humans were acting like the Council fleet did not exist. What about their colonies? She demanded. That is the strange part, Commander, the censor officer reported. All 3 human colonies are operating normally. Mining operations continue on Titan's Rest. Agricultural work proceeds on Farhaven. New Geneva shows no signs of evacuation or panic. It is as if they do not know we are here. This made no sense to Zix Thala. When the Council fleet had arrived at other rebellious worlds, the results were immediate. Ships fled. Populations begged for mercy. Governments frantically contacted the Council to negotiate surrender terms. The humans were acting like they did not care. Perhaps they are too primitive to understand the threat, suggested her tactical officer, a crystalline being whose thoughts came in musical tones. Their sensors might not be advanced enough to detect our ships properly. Zixthala considered this possibility. The Council's intelligence reports indicated human technology was centuries behind galactic standards. Maybe they truly did not understand what they were facing. "Commander," called the communications officer, "we are receiving a transmission from Ambassador Veltar." The main screen flickered to life, showing the Zephyrian ambassador in his luxurious office on the Council station. His forearms moved in agitated patterns. "Commander Zixthala, what is taking so long? The 30 days expire tomorrow. Where is humanity's surrender?" "Ambassador, the humans have not responded to our presence. They continue normal activities as if our fleet does not exist." Veltar's skin shifted to an angry purple. "This is unacceptable. Perhaps they need a demonstration of our capabilities, something to help them understand their situation." "What kind of demonstration, Ambassador?" "Nothing major. Destroy one of their mining facilities, something remote with no population. Show them we are serious about enforcement." Zixthala nodded. The tactic had worked with other species. A small demonstration of power usually brought immediate compliance. "I will select an appropriate target. Make it quick, Commander." The Council grows impatient with these primitive delays. The transmission ended, leaving Zixthala to study tactical displays of human installations. Her staff quickly identified the perfect target, a mining facility on a small asteroid in the outer system. Completely automated. No crew, just machinery and robots extracting rare metals. "Prepare the stellar lance for a precision strike," she ordered. "Minimum power. We want to destroy the facility cleanly, nothing more." Her weapon officer, a tall humanoid with blue skin, began charging the ship's main cannon. The stellar lance could destroy moons if fired at full power. For this demonstration, they would use barely 1% of its capability. "Target acquired, Commander. The mining station is completely automated as intelligence reported. No life signs detected. Fire when ready." The beam lanced out, invisible except for the distortion it caused in space itself. It struck the mining facility and vaporized it instantly. Where complex machinery had extracted metals from rock moments before, now only empty space remained. "Perfect hit, Commander. Target completely destroyed." Zixthala felt satisfied with the demonstration. Now the humans would understand what they faced. Now they would send panicked messages begging for mercy. Now this tedious assignment would end properly. "Open a channel to Earth," she commanded. "Let us hear their surrender." But the response that came was not what she expected. A single transmission arrived from Earth's government. No video, just audio. A calm male voice delivered a brief message in perfect galactic standard. "Thank you for clarifying your intentions, that was all. No fear, no panic. No surrender. Just a polite acknowledgement that sounded almost like gratitude." "What does that mean?" demanded the tactical officer. Zixthala stared at the communication display. In all her years of military service, she had never received such a response to a demonstration of force. Species either surrendered immediately or responded with defiant threats. They did not thank the Council for destroying their property. "Perhaps it is a translation error," suggested the communications officer. "Human language might not convert properly to galactic standard." "Run a full linguistic analysis," Zixthala ordered. "I want to know exactly what they meant." The results came back quickly. The translation was perfect. The humans had literally thanked the Council fleet for clarifying their intentions. "Send another message to Earth," Zixthala decided. "Demand an immediate response regarding their compliance with Council requirements." They waited. Hours passed. The human colonies continued their normal operations. Ships moved between the planets carrying cargo and passengers. The mining operations that remained functional kept working. Agricultural centers kept growing food. Earth sent no further communications. "Commander," the sensor officer called out, his voice uncertain. "I am detecting some unusual readings from the outer system." "What kind of readings?" "I am not sure. There are gravitational fluctuations near the gas giants, and some electromagnetic signatures that do not match any known phenomena." Zixthala frowned. Her sensors were the most advanced in the galaxy. They could detect a single ship from light years away. If they were picking up unknown signatures, something was definitely wrong. Could it be natural phenomena? Solar activity? Negative, Commander. These readings suggest artificial sources, but there are no ships in those areas according to our scans. A chill ran down Zixthala's spine. She had spent decades in space and learned to trust her instincts. Right now, those instincts were screaming that something was very wrong with this situation. Increase sensor sweep range and intensity. I want to know what is causing those readings. As her crew worked frantically to identify the mysterious signatures, Zixthala stared at the peaceful blue world of Earth hanging in the distance. The humans were not behaving like any species she had ever encountered. They were not afraid. And somehow, that was the most terrifying thing of all. Commander, the communications officer called out, his voice tight with concern. We are receiving priority messages from all 12 Council homeworlds. All 12? What do they want? They are requesting immediate status updates on unidentified ships that have appeared in their systems. Zixthala felt her blood turn cold. Ships? What ships? Unknown vessels, Commander. Each Council world reports the same thing. Unidentified ships have appeared near their planets. They are not attacking, just waiting. The pieces began falling into place in Zixthala's mind. The strange sensor readings, the humans' lack of fear, their polite thanks for clarifying intentions. How long ago did these ships appear? Approximately 6 hours ago, Commander. Right after we destroyed the mining facility. Zixthala stared at Earth with new understanding. The humans had not been ignoring the Council fleet. They had been waiting for the Council to make the first move. Now they had. Admiral Elena Chen stood in the command center, buried 3 kilometers beneath the Swiss Alps. Around her, thousands of technicians monitored displays showing every corner of known space. The room hummed with quiet efficiency, a stark contrast to the chaos about to unfold across the galaxy. Admiral, all fleets report ready status, announced Captain Rodriguez from the tactical station. Operation Checkmate is go for execution. Chen nodded, her gray eyes fixed on the main display showing the Council fleet hanging motionless at the edge of their solar system. 50 ships that the aliens considered an overwhelming show of force. If they only knew what humanity had been building for the past 50 years. Initiate Phase 1, she commanded. Let them see what they missed. The first hint of humanity's true capabilities began with ships that simply appeared. Not arrived. Not jumped from faster-than-light travel, but materialized as if they had been there all along. Stealth technology that made human vessels invisible to even the most advanced alien sensors. Commander Zixthala's fleet suddenly found themselves surrounded. From every direction, sleek human warships dropped their stealth fields. They had been hiding in plain sight, using technology the Council did not know existed. The alien fleet's sensors had detected empty space where dozens of human vessels had been waiting patiently, but these were not ordinary human ships. Each vessel had been designed with one purpose: to kill aliens. Admiral, the Council fleet is attempting to raise shields, reported the sensor officer. Too late, Chen replied calmly. Their shield frequencies were mapped months ago. Execute Phase 2. The human ships opened fire, but not with conventional weapons. Instead, they used technology specifically engineered to exploit weaknesses in alien ship design. Zephyrian vessels relied on quantum field generators that could be disrupted by properly tuned electromagnetic pulses. Crystalline ships shattered when exposed to specific sonic frequencies. Mantari technology failed completely when subjected to certain gravitational fields. Humanity had studied every piece of alien equipment they could acquire through trade, espionage, and careful analysis of wreckage from ancient battles. While the Council species grew comfortable with their technological superiority, human scientists had been finding ways to turn that technology against its creators. Multiple alien vessels disabled. Admiral, reported the weapons officer. Their engines are offline, but life support remains functional. Excellent. Continue with minimum casualties. We want survivors to deliver our message. The alien fleet tried to fight back, but their weapons had been designed to fight other aliens using similar technology. Against human ships with completely different design principles, their shots either missed entirely or caused minimal damage. Commander Zixthala watched her fleet fall apart around her. Ships that had been the pride of galactic civilization were being disabled by vessels that should have been centuries behind in technology. How are they doing this? She demanded. Their technology is primitive. Her tactical officer, the one remaining console still functional, provided the terrifying answer. Commander, these are not the ships we expected. Our intelligence reports were completely wrong. Their technology is not primitive at all. It is just different. The human vessels moved with precision no alien fleet had ever achieved. They coordinated their attacks with split-second timing, as if controlled by a single mind. Their weapons struck exactly where alien ships were most vulnerable, disabling targets with surgical accuracy. Within 30 minutes, the entire Council enforcement fleet was helpless, but the real shock came when reports started flooding in from across the galaxy. Admiral, called the communications officer, we are receiving confirmations from all 12 target systems. Operation Checkmate is fully successful. Chen allowed herself a small smile. While the Council had been focused on Earth, humanity had been deploying forces throughout galactic space. Not just ships, but entire fleets positioned near every Council homeworld. The technology that made it possible was humanity's greatest secret. While aliens had developed faster-than-light travel that allowed ships to cross space quickly, humans had developed something far more dangerous: instantaneous deployment networks. Using quantum entanglement principles the Council species had never mastered, human fleets could be positioned anywhere in the galaxy and activated simultaneously. It was not faster-than-light travel, it was faster-than-thought strategic positioning. Show them what they are really facing, Chen ordered. Across the galaxy, human fleets revealed themselves near every major Council world. Not attacking, not threatening, just present. The message was clear. Earth could strike anywhere, anytime. The Zephyrian homeworld found itself looking at a fleet of human dreadnoughts hanging in orbit. The Crystalline Collective discovered human ships positioned near their most sacred artifacts. The Mentari Military Command watched human vessels appear inside their most secure defensive perimeters. Every Council species suddenly realized the same terrifying truth. Humanity had known about the ultimatum before it was delivered. They had been preparing for this exact scenario. Admiral Chen, came a transmission from the Council Fleet Commander. Sixathala's voice was tight with barely controlled fear. What do you want? What I want, Commander, is for your people to understand something very important, Chen replied. Humanity appreciates the Council's attempt to bring order to the galaxy, but we will not be accepting your guidance. You cannot fight all of us. The Council has ruled this galaxy for thousands of years. Commander, look around you. Look at the reports from your homeworlds. We are not fighting you. We are demonstrating that we could have fought you at any time we chose. The truth was devastating in its simplicity. While the Council had been comfortable in their superiority, humanity had been studying them, learning their weaknesses, preparing for the day when alien arrogance would demand a response. Your species has made one critical error, Chen continued. You assumed that because humans still fight wars, we must be primitive. You never considered that maybe we are good at fighting wars because we never stopped learning how to win them. The alien commanders across the galaxy were receiving the same education. Humanity had not just developed superior technology, they had developed superior strategy. While the Council species had grown soft from millennia of unchallenged dominance, humans had remained sharp from constant conflict. Every Council world now has human ships in position, Chen announced. Not to attack, but to remind you of something important. We could have struck first. We could have eliminated your leadership, crippled your fleets, and conquered your worlds before you even knew we existed. Why did you not? Sixthala asked, her voice barely a whisper. Because unlike you, Commander, we do not attack without provocation. You destroyed our mining facility. You threatened our colonies. You demanded our surrender. Now you understand what happens when humanity clarifies its own intentions. The human fleets began withdrawing as suddenly as they had appeared, not retreating but making their point clear. They could appear anywhere, anytime, and disappear just as quickly. Your 30-day ultimatum expires tomorrow, Chen said. We will not be complying. Instead, we will be presenting our own terms to the Galactic Council. I suggest you prepare your leaders for a very different kind of conversation. The transmissions ended, leaving the Council fleets floating helplessly in space while their commanders tried to comprehend what had just happened. Humanity had not just refused to submit. They had demonstrated that submission was never really an option. The Council had been living in a galaxy where the most dangerous predator had been hiding in plain sight, waiting patiently for someone to give them a reason to show their teeth. That reason had finally come. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened in chaos. Representatives from 12 worlds sat in their usual chambers, but nothing else was usual about this gathering. The comfortable superiority that had defined galactic politics for millennia had evaporated overnight. Ambassador Veltar stood at the central podium, his forearms trembling with barely controlled fear. Around him, the other council members displayed various signs of distress. The crystalline speaker's normally perfect harmonic tones came out as discordant noise. The Mantari commander's wings buzzed frantically. Even the stone-like basaltans showed cracks in their usually impassive surfaces. The human fleets have withdrawn from all council systems, Veltar announced, though everyone already knew this. But the implications of their demonstration cannot be ignored. High Admiral Korath of the Voidwalker fleet spoke from his darkened section of the chamber. His species rarely involved themselves in council politics, preferring to patrol the galaxy's dangerous outer regions. When they spoke, others listened. In 3,000 years of galactic peace, no species has ever demonstrated such complete tactical superiority. Korath's deep voice rumbled through the chamber. The humans did not just defeat our enforcement fleet. They showed us they could have eliminated all of us at any time they chose. The representative from the ethereal collective pulsed with nervous energy. Our homeworld's defense grid is the most advanced in the galaxy. Nothing should be able to penetrate our shields without detection. Yet human ships appeared inside our defensive perimeter, as if our barriers did not exist. How is this possible? Demanded the Thalassan delegate, her aquatic chamber bubbling with agitation. Our intelligence reports indicated human technology was centuries behind galactic standards. Veltar activated a holographic display showing recordings from the encounter. The images were disturbing to watch. Council ships, the pinnacle of galactic engineering, being disabled by weapons that seemed to target their exact weaknesses. Our analysis teams have reviewed all available data, Veltar said. The humans did not use superior firepower to defeat our fleets. They used superior knowledge. Every shot was precisely targeted at our most vulnerable systems. The implications were terrifying. It meant humanity had been studying council technology for decades, identifying weaknesses, developing countermeasures. While the council had been confident in their superiority, humans had been preparing for war. There is worse news, Veltar continued. The humans' deployment capability suggests they possess technology we do not understand. Our ships were positioned throughout the galaxy and activated simultaneously. This is not faster than light travel. This is something else entirely. Commander Zixthala appeared on the main screen via emergency transmission from her disabled flagship. The proud fleet commander looked broken, her scales dulled with exhaustion and fear. Council members, I must report additional observations from the engagement, she said. The human ships moved with perfect coordination. No communication delays, no tactical errors, no confusion. It was as if they shared a single mind. Impossible, snapped the mechanoid representative. Such coordination requires quantum entanglement networks that span the galaxy. The energy requirements alone would be enormous. Nevertheless, that is what we observed, Zixthala replied. Furthermore, their weapons were designed specifically to counter our defenses. Electromagnetic pulses that disrupted Zephyrian quantum fields. Sonic weapons tuned to shatter crystalline matrices. Gravitational fields that interfered with Mantari technology. The chamber fell silent as the full scope of humanity's preparation became clear. This was not a lucky victory or a technological breakthrough achieved overnight. This was the result of decades of careful planning and systematic preparation for war with the Council. They knew, whispered the hegemony representative. They knew we would eventually come for them, and they prepared accordingly. Veltar nodded grimly. Our comfortable assumption that young species require our guidance has been proven catastrophically wrong. The humans never needed our guidance. They were studying us, learning our weaknesses, preparing for the day we revealed our true intentions. What are their demands? Asked the Voidwalker Admiral. They have requested a new session to present their terms, Veltar replied. Admiral Chen will arrive tomorrow to address the Council. Admiral Chen? The crystalline speaker's tones carried surprise. Not Ambassador Martinez? No. They are sending their military commander. The message is clear. This will be a discussion between a victor and the defeated, not a diplomatic negotiation between equals. The representatives exchanged uncertain glances. In 3,000 years of council history, no one had ever dictated terms to them. They were the ones who granted audiences, set conditions, demanded compliance. The reversal was psychologically devastating. Perhaps we should consider military options, suggested the Mantari commander. Rally the full council fleet. Show them we will not be intimidated. Korath's laugh was a sound like grinding metal. Commander, they positioned fleets near all our homeworlds simultaneously. They demonstrated the ability to strike anywhere without warning. What military options do you think we have? The truth was unavoidable. Humanity had not just won a battle. They had demonstrated complete strategic superiority. Any military response would result in the Council's total destruction. There is something else, Veltar said quietly. Analysis of their weapons fire shows they deliberately avoided casualties. Their shots were precisely calibrated to disable our ships without killing our crews. What does that mean? Asked the Thalassen representative. It means they could have killed us all but chose not to. They wanted survivors to carry the message back. This was not a battle. It was a lesson. The chamber buzzed with nervous conversation as the representatives tried to process this information. The humans had demonstrated not just the ability to destroy the council, but the restraint to choose not to. Why spare us? Wondered the ethereal collective's representative. Because, Korath said grimly, dead enemies cannot serve as examples to others. They wanted us alive to tell the galaxy what happens when someone threatens humanity. The session devolved into fearful speculation about human capabilities and intentions. Some representatives suggested immediate surrender. Others proposed negotiating from a position of weakness. A few still clung to the hope that this was all an elaborate bluff, but the evidence was overwhelming. Humanity had revealed itself as the galaxy's apex predator, and the Council's 3,000 years of dominance were over. When Admiral Chen arrives tomorrow, Veltar announced, we will not be greeting a supplicant seeking our approval. We will be facing a conqueror who has chosen to talk instead of destroy. I suggest we remember the difference. The session ended with the Council representatives departing in various states of shock and fear. Behind them, the great chamber that had witnessed the submission of dozens of species now waited to host its own surrender. The age of Council supremacy was ending. The age of humanity was about to begin, and everyone in the galaxy was about to learn that the most dangerous species was the one that had been quietly preparing for war while everyone else grew comfortable with peace. Admiral Elena Chen walked into the council chambers wearing the same simple uniform that Ambassador Martinez had worn weeks before. But everything else had changed. The representatives who had once looked down on humanity's representative now watched Chen with careful attention and barely concealed fear. Gone was the dismissive arrogance that had filled the chamber during the ultimatum. The 12 council species sat quietly in their designated areas, waiting for Chen to speak. The chamber that had once buzzed with confident conversation was now silent except for the hum of translation devices. Chen took her position at the central podium where Ambassador Veltar had stood when delivering humanity's ultimatum. The symbolism was not lost on anyone present. The species that had been expected to grovel was now setting terms. Members of the Galactic Council, Chen began, her voice carrying easily through the vast chamber. I come before you today not as a supplicant seeking your approval, but as the representative of a species that has chosen cooperation over conquest. The word chosen hung in the air like a threat. Every representative understood its implications. Humanity had demonstrated the ability to conquer. Now they were choosing a different path. 3 weeks ago, you delivered an ultimatum to humanity, Chen continued. You demanded that we withdraw from our colonies, submit to technological restrictions, and accept council oversight of our development. Today, I am here to present humanity's response to those demands. Veltar leaned forward from his section, his forearms gripped tightly around the armrests of his chair. Around him, the other representatives waited with visible tension. First, regarding our colonies, Chen said, activating a holographic display showing the 3 human worlds. New Geneva, Titan's Rest, and Far Haven will remain under human control. We will continue to expand our settlements as we see fit. We will continue to develop these worlds according to human needs and preferences. The declaration would have sparked outrage weeks ago. Now it was met with nervous silence. Second, regarding technological restrictions, Chen continued. Humanity will develop our technology along whatever lines we choose. We will not submit to council oversight or guidance. We will continue to advance our capabilities as we deem appropriate. She paused, letting the words sink in before delivering the final point. Third, regarding council supervision of human affairs, Chen said, her gray eyes scanning the assembled representatives. Humanity rejects any claim of council authority over our species. We will govern ourselves, make our own decisions, and chart our own course among the stars. The silence that followed was deafening. For 3,000 years, the council had dictated terms to lesser species. Now they were being told that their authority meant nothing. However, Chen continued, humanity recognizes the value of galactic cooperation. We propose a new relationship based on mutual respect, rather than council dominance. This caught the representatives' attention. They had expected either total rejection or impossible demands. Instead, Chen was offering something that sounded almost reasonable. Humanity will respect the sovereignty of council worlds, she explained. We will not interfere in your internal affairs, attack your territories, or threaten your populations. In return, you will extend the same courtesy to human space. Ambassador Veltar finally found his voice. What about trade agreements? Resource allocation? Territorial disputes? The Council has managed these issues for millennia. These matters can be negotiated between equals, Chen replied. Humanity is willing to participate in discussions about trade, resource sharing, and territorial boundaries. But we will not accept Council decisions as binding unless we agree to them. The crystalline speaker chimed with nervous harmonics. What you propose is chaos. Without central authority, how will conflicts be resolved? Chen's smile was not particularly comforting. The same way they always have been, speaker. Through negotiation, compromise, and when necessary, demonstration of strength. The implication was clear. Humanity had already demonstrated their strength. Now they were offering negotiation and compromise as alternatives to further demonstrations. You cannot simply ignore galactic law, protested the Mentari commander. The Council exists to maintain order. Without our authority, young species develop incorrectly. They become aggressive, militaristic, dangerous. Commander, Chen replied, you are looking at a species that developed exactly as you feared. We remained aggressive, militaristic, and dangerous. The question you must ask yourself is, do you want us as partners or enemies? The chamber fell silent again as the representatives considered the choice Chen had presented. Partnership with humanity meant accepting them as equals. Enmity meant facing a species that had proven capable of destroying them all. What about our enforcement capabilities? Asked the Voidwalker Admiral. The Council maintains peace through the threat of force. If species believe they can simply ignore our authority, chaos will follow. Admiral, Chen said, your enforcement capabilities were neutralized in 30 minutes by a species you considered primitive. How much peace do you think you can maintain now? The brutal honesty of the statement hit like a physical blow. Every representative understood that the Council's power had been based on the illusion of invincibility. That illusion was gone forever. The galaxy is changing, Chen continued. You can adapt to the change or you can be swept aside by it. Humanity prefers adaptation. She activated another display showing star charts. These are the boundaries of human space as of today. We claim no council worlds, no existing territories, no established colonies. But within these boundaries, human authority is absolute. The boundaries were larger than the council had expected, but smaller than they had feared. Humanity was claiming room to grow, but not threatening existing powers. Beyond these boundaries, Chen added, humanity will respect existing claims and territorial integrity. We propose formal recognition of these arrangements. It was not the submission the Council had demanded, but it was not total war either. Humanity was offering a middle path. Coexistence between equals. What guarantees do we have that humanity will honor these agreements? Demanded the Thalassan representative. Chen's expression grew serious. The same guarantee you have always relied upon, representative. The certainty that breaking agreements leads to consequences. The difference is that now, humanity is capable of delivering consequences that matter. The message was unmistakable. The Council's old system of dominance through superior force was over. The new system would be balanced through mutual deterrence. This proposal requires unanimous Council approval, Veltar said weakly. No, Chen corrected. This proposal requires your acceptance or rejection. Humanity will proceed according to our stated intentions regardless of your decision. The only question is whether you choose cooperation or conflict. The representatives exchanged uncertain glances. They were being offered a choice between accepting humanity as an equal or facing them as an enemy. After the demonstration they had witnessed, the choice was obvious. One by one, the council representatives indicated their acceptance. Not enthusiastic agreement, but grudging acknowledgement of the new reality. Excellent, Chen said. Humanity looks forward to productive relationships with all council species. She gathered her materials and prepared to leave, but paused at the chamber's exit. One final point, she said, turning back to address the assembled representatives. The galaxy is vast. There is room for all of us to prosper. Humanity has no desire to dominate or destroy other species, but we will never again accept domination or destruction ourselves. As Chen left the chamber, the representatives sat in stunned silence. The meeting that should have been humanity's submission had become the council's surrender. The age of unchallenged council authority was over. The age of human partnership had begun. And in the vast silence of the chamber, every representative understood the same truth. The galaxy had not just gained a new power. It had discovered that the most dangerous species was the one that offered friendship with one hand while keeping a sword in the other. The council had learned to fear humanity's enemies. Now they would learn to respect humanity's friends.